Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Aimee here. Sorry it's been a hot minute. Took a little hiatus. Things have just been overwhelming lately, and after everything was done, I just had a lot of things going on, and when I have that, I have to take something off my plate. So unfortunately it had to be content creating, I guess, on all platforms. But anyway, we're back here today, and I have some more spooky reads for the spooky season. We're about halfway through the spooky season, probably a little more past halfway when this video will go up, but it's still spooky time and we still have time to read all the books. So I have like 11 books here that I've read over the years that to me are just great to read during spooky season. Not all of them are technically spooky, like scary spooky. I do have some fun reads in here, but it does have to do with fall and spooky season in October, or even, you know, November. Spooky season for me is all year long as far as like reading is concerned. So I will continue to read the spooky reads, but if you're looking for something to continue with your spooky season reads, let's get into it. And in no particular order, I just pulled these off of my shelf, but we'll start with The Taking of Jake Livingston, and this is by Ryan Douglas. This, and a shiny cover, so it's going to show some reflection. This is a YA horror, paranormal, gay little thriller. So we have Jake here, who is also a medium, and he's gay, and he is being bullied in his high school, as well as being followed by a very evil spirit. So this was just, it's very short, so I don't want to give too much away. We're just following Jake throughout his days as he tries to cope with everything that's going on in his life. I just found it very haunting and very creepy. I did listen to this on audio, and the audio is fantastic. I do recommend going that route if you can, but if not, it's still a great YA horror / thriller with some paranormal thrown in there as well, and a little bit of LGBTQ. So, I mean, what is there not to like about this book? Then I have Closer by David Ellis. This is actually one of my more recent reads, and it takes place on Halloween, or the murder takes place on Halloween. But it's a chunk of a book, so there's a lot going on, lots of twists and turns towards the end. Never saw it coming. We're mostly following Simon and Vicky in this book. They are a couple. They are a little on the rocky side of their relationship, but in the beginning is where it all takes place. The beginning starts off with a bang. This is where the murder, or where you first hear about the murder that has happened on Halloween night. You're following a character that we don't know who they are, just a random character, as they talk about this person. That did they murder this person? What did they find this person? We don't know until, you know, we continue to read the book, obviously. But the murder does take place on Halloween night. Sorry, my light went out for a hot minute there. I don't know what it is. It gets really, really hot in the plug area, and then it just shuts down. So I have to like wait for it to cool. Don't recommend this light. I got it from Amazon. Anyway, so we're following Simon and Vicky mainly throughout the book, and we have a before Halloween and after Halloween sort of timeline. We're also following a detective as we try to figure out what happened to this person that has been murdered on Halloween night. So yeah, it was a really good time, and like I said, it took place on Halloween. Next up is Cackle. This is by Rachel Harrison. This is actually the only Rachel Harrison I've read. I really did enjoy it. It wasn't like anything groundbreaking, but I thought it was fun. It was nothing necessarily spooky about this book, but it is very witchy. So we follow Annie as she's basically trying to start a new life in a different, like, little small town. And this is where she meets Sophie. Sophie is a very interesting character, and people have very interesting thoughts about Sophie. But Sophie takes on to Annie. She, like, clings herself to Annie and is like, becomes like this best friend, motherly type figure to Annie. And I cannot forget about Sophie's friend, her little spider friend. I forget his name, but he is fantastic. I think he was like my favorite character in this book. But I just thought it was a fun, kind of witchy October sort of read, and I just wanted to throw it into this video. Another sort of fun, yet I want to say fun horror, because it is categorized as a horror. This is the Southern Book Club's guide to slaying vampires. I enjoyed all the characters in here. We have like a bunch of women that have a book club. We're just going to continue without the light because it keeps going out, so sorry. I still get pretty good lighting in this room. But anyway, moving on. So like I said, we have a bunch of women who are housewives. This book takes place in the 90s. It's very nostalgic oriented. That's mainly what I loved about this book. I love the whole 90s vibe. So we have all these housewives that kind of unwind during their book club nights, where they have wine and talk about their current read. And then one evening they have like a new neighbor show up, but it's a man shows up for their book club. There's something very strange about this man that shows up. Very entertaining. The woman we follow, or the housewife we follow, her name is Patricia, and she's feeling like her life is just blah. It's not, there's no meaning to it besides, you know, being a housewife and being there for her husband, cooking his meals, and you know, things like that. So when this strange man appears, all the women band together to figure out who he is. Very entertaining. Perfect for spooky season. Now, this next book, I'm not a huge fan of this author, and I hate saying that because I have tried reading a good handful of this author's books. This is really the only one I feel like I sort of liked, but it also kind of went over my head at times. It's just probably just me as a reader, but this is The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. I wanted to put this on here because it is very spooky and very Halloween-y or spooky season oriented. Jennifer McMahon puts a lot of paranormal into her writing, so there's that in here. This is also more on the historical side of like a thriller horror paranormal book, which I'm not a huge historical reader, and I think that's probably what threw me off, but I did enjoy the paranormal that was happening in here. We're following along to a young woman's diary entries back in 1908. So Ruthie and her mom, Ruthie is 19 years old, and her mom move into this farmhouse. I had to look because like little bits, I read this so long ago, it's not all clicking in my brain. But Ruthie and her mom moves into this farmhouse, and Ruthie finds this diary in her room, and it's a diary of a young woman named Sarah back in 1908, and I believe she died in this home and was buried. No, she was found dead in a field behind the house just months after the death of her daughter. So Sarah's mother goes missing. There seems to be clues that could possibly be what happened to her mother in this diary. So we follow Sarah, and there she also has a younger sister. I don't remember what sort of part her younger sister plays in the story, but we're following Sarah as she tries to figure out what happened to her mother. Very spooky vibes, ghostly vibes. Yeah, it's definitely a good, if you're into history or more of a historical thriller or paranormal thriller, this would be on your list for sure. I did listen to the audio. The audio is fantastic for this book. The audio was great for this one as well. Okay, one of my favorite all-time thrillers. This is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Penborough. Now, I will say that the book is slow. We're following Louise. She's a single mother and a secretary. She has a new job, but she's at a bar one night and she kisses this guy, and this guy ends up to be her new boss. Louise is soon introduced to David, her new boss's wife, Adele, and somehow they become friends, and there's something weird about their relationship, and Louise just becomes curious and tries to figure out what it is why does Adele seem so uptight and so scared about her with her husband David. So the more we dive into their relationship as we're following Louise, we start to learn that there are some very mysterious things about Adele. There are a little bit of some ghostly vibes, maybe. No, maybe it's more witchcraft. There's definitely witchcraft in here. I will say that. But it takes a while to get to that moment where you're sucked into the book and what's happening with Adele and who or what. No. Basically who Adele is, not what. She is a person, but there's some stuff, there's some dark stuff behind Adele that you'll find the closer you get to the end of this book. The ending of this book is what did it for me, like blew me away. So for the most part it was mediocre. I was just enjoying, you know, the vibe that was happening. Got a little bit spookiness going on, witchiness maybe, and then bam. And that's just what did it for me. But I will say it is a little slow in the beginning, because I do remember not necessarily being bored, but just thinking, okay, where are we going here? But one of my favorite all-time thrillers. Another YA that I really enjoyed, this is The Cabin by Natasha Preston. Natasha Preston has been hit or miss with me, but this is definitely one that was a hit. So we follow Mackenzie. Her and her friends go out to this cabin just to have like just a fun-filled weekend. Next thing we know, people start dying in this cabin. There's no sign of a break-in or anything. So is it someone in their group that is killing them off? This was it gave me Scream vibes. I think that's why I loved it so much. There's a bit of like gory instances that take place in here. Yeah, total Scream vibes, and I was just really vibing with the story. I did enjoy this, but it is a YA, nothing groundbreaking, just fun. Another great spooky season book. This was like total 5 stars for me. This is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Probably saying that wrong, but loved this book. I've only read one other book by this author, but this one is top for me. So we follow Mallory. Mallory is a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. She's just trying to get back on her feet. So through her sponsor, she gets a job babysitting this 5-year-old boy named Teddy. Sweet little Teddy loves to draw. One day, his drawings start to turn into like these portraits. We don't know what's happening. There's also some spooky things that are going on around Mallory as she's staying at the home of Teddy's parents. I think there's like a pool house or something that she's staying in, and she feels like she's being watched. And then there's also something going on with Teddy, maybe an imaginary friend, possibly a possession. But in the book, you get these drawings. I mean, just this one right here. This is Teddy, and this seems to be maybe a friend of his that he's drawing. And then all of a sudden his drawings turn into like I said, these masterpieces. Very creepy. Don't know what the heck is going on around this house, around Mallory, or what's happening to little Teddy. Perfect for spooky season, in my opinion. The audiobook for this is also fantastic. Okay, my light decided to come back on. Excellent. Next up we have Pumpkinheads. This is by Rainbow Rowell. This is a little graphic novel. Super cute, super fun. Nothing spooky about it. It's just cute with very fall, October vibes. This is just about two friends. This is, what is it? Josiah and Deja. Yes, Josiah and Deja, two friends working at a pumpkin patch, and it's like their last season to work there till they go off to college. Just super cute. Really enjoyed it. Great for the season. Then we have The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. Now, Simone St. James is known for her paranormal vibes in her stories. This is probably one of the creepiest and scariest stories I've read, besides Hidden Pictures. I'm not normally like truly scared from reading a book, but sometimes I am, don't get me wrong, but this one really really creeped me out. We have some timelines. We have Vermont 1950, and then Vermont current times, which at this point it was 2014. So in the 1950s there was this boarding school for all girls, and something happened at this time. We jumped 20 years later, and it is known for being haunted. We have a journalist, Fiona, whose sister's body was found in the field around the old school. So she's there to see if she can figure out what happened to her sister when some spooky things start to happen around her, and what happened to her sister. Very creepy, very much a spooky season read. Highly recommend it. And last but definitely not least, if you are a Friday the 13th fan, I think you would really love Camp Carnage. This is by Elliot Arthur Cross and Joshua Winning. A very short book, gets right to the point. Just some kids at a, like, I think it's a summer camp. Yeah, summer of 1986. So we're getting those 80s nostalgia vibes. I enjoyed it. It was really fun. I hate saying that, but very Friday the 13th-ish. And that is it. That is all my spooky season recommendations for the year. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these. What are you currently reading? Give me some spooky recommendations. We still have some time left in spooky season. Of course, I read spooky all year round. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Hope you're all doing well out there and enjoying your October. And I will see y'all very, very soon in my next video. Bye, y'all.